Hello, Heavenly Lion Convenience. Alex Ambrose answered the store phone. I need 2 packs of tissues delivered to room 1302 of the Sheraton South River Hotel. Hurry! The caller hung up. Alex shook his head. People never seemed to be prepared. He packed the required items, put on a raincoat, and rode his electric bike toward the Sheraton Hotel on the southern side of the river. It was 9 o'clock in the evening and raining heavily, and his pants and shoes were soon wet and filthy. Luckily, the merchandise was still dry, but he didn't dare delay any longer, so he hurried toward the hotel. When he arrived at room 1302, he knocked on the door and it was opened quickly. Hello, here's your... Alex was stunned into silence. The woman in front of him was none other than his girlfriend, Kathy. She was dressed with her long, dark, wet hair draped over her shoulders. The sense of shower gel and shampoo assaulted his nose. Kathy, what are you doing here? He stared at her in disbelief, still feeling dazed. What are you doing here? Kathy asked. Her heart skipped a beat, and she took a small step back into the room. Her mind went blank and then started to spin. What's wrong? Another guy walked up to the door, and Alex immediately recognized him. You! Alex couldn't suppress the anger welling up inside him, and he started moving toward Billy, determined to teach him a lesson. Stop! Kathy stepped in front of Alex. After a brief burst of panic, she had managed to get back a bit of control. Since her boyfriend had already discovered her betrayal, there was no point in trying to hide it now. She looked directly at him. Alex, we need to break up. Break up? Alex was stunned. He stared at Kathy with wide eyes. Kathy, we've been together for more than a year. Are you going to break up with me now? Yes, we need to go our separate ways. She kept steady eye contact with him and spoke with a strong sense of resentment. Are you surprised? You have no money, Alex. You can only barely afford the cheapest essentials. We never have anything nice. As long as I'm with you, people will always be laughing at me. And that just isn't the life I want. I'm too good to be living in poverty like this. I was too naive when I was in my freshman year, and I let myself get tricked into being with a loser like you. She hugged Billy's arm and said to Alex, Billy is my boyfriend now. From now on, I want nothing to do with you. Don't bother me again. Well, seems like you're just her good-for-nothing ex now. Billy looked at Alex with a provocative smirk. Alex, standing there in a raincoat with mud stains on his pants and shoes, felt like Kathy was right. He was a complete loser. Billy took the plastic bag from his hand and took out the box. He waved it at Alex and laughed as he said, I'm staying in a nice hotel, having my girlfriend's ex bring me and you're single. Sure was good of you to help me out. Why are you still here? Kathy scolded Alex. Nah, it's good that he didn't piss off. Maybe you want to see me beat him down, huh, Kathy? Gotta give a lady what she wants, Billy sneered. Alex felt utterly defeated. He slowly turned around and walked out of the room. Bro, you're not even taking the money? Nice. I get a girlfriend and a gift. Billy felt great watching Alex's slumped, dejected posture as he closed the door behind him. When Alex left the hotel, it was raining even harder than before. He took off his raincoat, allowing the cool rain to drench his entire body and help clear his head. Kathy had discarded him because she believed he had no money. Losing such a materialistic woman should be something to rejoice over. So why should he be sad? Bzz, bzz. His phone vibrated in his pocket. Alex took it out and glanced at it. But when he saw the number, he stopped walking. His entire body was shaking as he read the text. After a review, the Ambrose family has decided that their son Alexander has met the conditions required for entitlement to his inheritance. From today onward, control of his property will be returned to him. the bean-sized raindrops plopped onto the screen, causing the text message to gradually become blurry. Alex's mind began to spin. Not for this message, Alex would have almost forgotten his identity as a super rich kid. Over the last 7 years, his family had been assessing him, withholding his fortune until they were satisfied he met their draconian conditions. And now, finally, it was over. Everything that rightfully belonged to him was finally his to claim. Alex woke up early the next morning and drove to the city. In a great mood, he got out of his car and went straight to the Metro Skybank, right in the heart of the wealthiest part of the central business district of New York. Various luxury cars were parked around the bank. The people walking in and out of the surrounding plaza were all rich. It was obvious from their clothing and demeanor. Alex strode to the door of the bank and pushed it open. Ouch! The main door could be opened both inward and outward, and Alex had been a bit careless when he pushed it open from the outside. As a result, the door had bumped into a long-haired young woman who had been heading out of the building. He quickly apologized. Sorry, I didn't see you. What do you mean you didn't see me? What, am I invisible? She held a hand to her forehead and glared at him. The bank's assistant manager, Karen Young, had noticed the incident and hurried over. She checked on the woman first and then looked at Alex in disapproval. When her gaze swept over him, a trace of suspicion appeared on her face. Metro Skybank was different from most banks, as the clientele were almost exclusively high-end business people. Karen knew the young woman was there with her father, but she didn't know why Alex was there. Judging from his appearance and age, he wasn't their usual type of customer. Sir, can I be of assistance? She asked with a polite but forced smile. Alex simply said, I'm here to withdraw money. Withdraw money? The sullen woman asked, sneering at him. Do you have a card? Karen asked, continuing to smile politely. Getting a Metro Skybank card was not easy. $1 million of savings was the minimum requirement to qualify. Karen felt certain that the man in front of her couldn't have much experience with the bank and wouldn't know their rules. Perhaps he had thought that other banks' cards could also be used here. No, Alex replied, shaking his head. The woman he had accidentally hit with the door couldn't help but giggle when she heard his honest reply. He wasn't worth any more of her attention. Let's go. Her father had walked up, still arranging the documents he was carrying. My dad and I are leaving. The woman shook Karen's hand and then looked over at Alex. Miss Young, having someone like this around could damage your bank's image and upset your customers. I hope this will not happen again. With that, she took her father's arm and opened the door. Take care, Mr. Scott. Karen followed them out a few steps, watching as they got into a car and left. Turning around, she headed back inside, having made up her mind to encourage Alex to leave as soon as possible. There was no one standing where Alex had been. Oh, where's he gone? She wondered. Was it possible that the kid had been embarrassed and had quietly slipped away? She felt relieved at the thought. Then, just as she was about to go back to work, she caught a glimpse of someone out of the corner of her eye. There's the brat. No wonder I didn't see him at first, she thought. He had already reached the entrance to the VIP lounge, and a pillar had blocked her view of him. The VIP room was only for high-status customers who were worth at least $30 million. And this young man had admitted that he didn't even have a card. If she let him get through, she would be in trouble with her boss. Stop! Don't move! Karen yelled, feeling desperate. The other customers all looked around at her, obviously annoyed by her shouting. She could only smile apologetically as she walked quickly toward Alex. But he had already walked through the lounge, opened the door to the VIP room, and stepped inside. Does he have no shame? Karen hurried after Alex with a look of chagrin on her face. She tried to open the door to the VIP room, but it had been locked from the inside. Hello? Inside the VIP room, Robert Miller, the bank manager, was leaning against the sofa, looking at his phone. When the door suddenly opened, he quickly sat down and hid his phone away. Normally, when a VIP was coming in, Karen would notify him in advance. As the customer manager, he was responsible for 31 VIPs, and he knew them like the back of his hand. He immediately began to launch into his normal professional greeting, hoping to undo the poor impression he'd made by slouching against the sofa. But when he saw Alex, his expression froze. He was certain that Alex was not one of his VIPs, nor was he a relative of one. "May I ask who you are?" Robert asked, looking at the young man, who appeared to be around 20 years old. Robert had no idea who he was. Alex got straight to the point. "I'm here to get my money." "You have one of our cards?" Robert asked, suspicious of Alex's calm expression. "No," Alex admitted frankly. Robert was relieved to seemingly be proven right, but even more confused. Access to the VIP room required a minimum worth of $3 million, but this man didn't have any money. How was he so composed? "I'm sorry, sir, we can't give out money without a card. Do you require anything else?" He's crazy, Robert thought. Why on earth did Karen let him in? I'll have to speak to her about this at Monday's meeting. "You have fingerprint recognition here, right?" Alex suddenly asked. The fingerprint ID system at the bank was for the wealthiest families and businesses to use. Only a few people had their fingerprints recorded in the system, at least in the New York branch, and no one had used it to access their holdings yet. "You want to use it?" Robert could no longer bring himself to call Alex sir. "Yes," Alex nodded. Robert was feeling more confused by the second. Why would someone who wasn't even a customer request to use a fingerprint ID? To be honest, even though he was curious, Robert felt that it was barely worth humoring the request. But after considering for a few seconds, he finally decided to let Alex make the attempt rather than risk making him angry. He opened the safe and brought out the fingerprint identification device, which he had never used before. "Place your thumb here." Robert indicated the verification area to Alex, who placed his thumb on the sensor. Beep! The device lit up with a glaring red light, and the LCD screen displayed the words, "Fingerprint not recorded." Immediately, Robert's expression turned hostile, and he glared at Alex. He picked up his phone, ready to call the police. Wait, Alex said quickly. "Maybe that was the wrong print. I'll try using my index finger this time." Robert smiled coldly. "What's your plan here? Your thumb doesn't work, so you'll try your index finger? Then if your index finger doesn't work, you'll try your middle finger. When you run out of fingers, will you try using your toes?" But Alex had already pressed his index finger on the verification area. Robert resolved that if the man's fingerprints weren't accepted this time, he would immediately call the police and have him arrested. Beep! A green light appeared on the device, and new details flashed up on the LCD screen. Verification successful. Family account 01. Verifier Alex Ambrose. Account 01104. Robert gaped at Alex in disbelief for a moment, and then hurriedly squeezed out a smile. "Mr. Ambrose, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I'm Robert Miller, the customer manager for the New York branch. Please allow me to assist you." "It's fine," Alex said lightly and stood up. "Can I see how much money I have left in my account?" "Please wait a moment." Robert sat in front of the computer and typed away for a while. On his instructions, Alex provided a few more fingerprint scans as authorization. "It's done, Mr. Ambrose." Robert clicked the OK button on the screen, and Alex's account appeared. Robert pointed to the computer screen and said, "Mr. Ambrose, the balance of your account is currently $86 million. Robert couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air.
Listen to the full audiobook, The Insta Millionaire, only on the Pocket FM app.